It is the Friday Teams press comments out of the Mexican Grand Prix, round 8 of the Season 4 IFMC Championship. We have 5 team bosses at present, so let's introduce them. We have Robert Ionescu, team boss of Eldorado Racing, George Rote, team boss of George Rote Motorsport, Yimi Marta, team boss of Suomi Grand Prix, Oliver Glazebrook, team boss of Etihad Racing, and James Willows, team boss of East Midlands Racing. So we'll start off with James. So James obviously took advantage of the red flag, of course, and especially the pilot down at turn 1 to get what was at the time a very unpopular 1-2.
My haters.
So, is that the best way to put it?
Yes.
Oh God.
Well, I'll ask you a little bit more. Did you actually expect that something like that was to happen in the race, considering that the initial race, the team didn't seem to get off the foot?
Of course, when we take pole, we fucking bottle it, of course. And then Vettel would spin it, of course, because he's been on pole. And we did look like we were going to get a podium, and then the fucking your computer crashes or whatever, something happens.
And then you win.
And then I somehow fucking win. How the fuck did that happen? But in Karen's word, it was scripted. But what I want to know is how the fuck you script a crash?
Anyway, I'll move on. Well, since James is still a little bit drunk, moving on to Robert. So, Robert, obviously it was pretty much the weekend didn't start off too well for the team. It seemed that your cards didn't seem to be on the pace. It was only until after the red flag that your team seemed to be on the mark for a podium.
Yeah, the pace wasn't there in qualifying and in the first part of the race. We still don't know why, but it's very disappointing. We got very lucky though with the restart, and Valtteri did the job and put it on the podium. So we're proud of him for that. But of course it's an alarm for the future that we need to work on improving our pace, because we're not gonna get lucky all the time.
Exactly. On top of that as well, at one point it did look like that your team would have challenged for the victory, with the fact that you and the two EMRs were slowly starting to catch up to Pascal, and then obviously everything that happened to him on his outlap. But it seemed that it didn't quite materialise in the pits.
We had the chance, but the EMR had the better strategy. The overcut was stronger, and so Vettel leapfrogged Valtteri.
We're just better.
Moving on to Oliver. So, Oliver, it looked like initially race 1, Hamilton was just running away with it, and then of course that had to happen. But a good comeback nonetheless from both of your drivers.
I wouldn't say it was a good comeback. I would say it was probably the most undeserved victory anyone's ever had. Hamilton pulled out a gap that was equivalent to a pit stop. So even with the overcut or undercut would have had it. He set the fastest lap in both sessions. And yeah, it was just, it helped CMR with their battle for second. In the long run, doesn't really affect us too much. All it really has done is meant that Alonso and Hamilton are closer together. But at the time we was a bit annoyed. Looking back, I don't think it will affect us too much. I think that it's, I don't think anyone will disagree with the fact that, the quickest team won. I don't think they did. I think EMR probably the second, but with the mistakes, But that's the way the cookie crumbles. It was misfortunate, It was even worse for Suomi. Their luck never seems to kick in, but you make your own luck sometimes. If I'm honest, I think Giovinazzi's got off lightly. But yeah, there's nothing we can do. We're still leading the championship. We're 1-2 in the drivers. So, you let EML have their day. We had our day at Donington, so, swings and roundabouts.
Now, speaking of Giovinazzi, it's not the first time he's caused something at Team 1. He actually did something last season as well at Monza. Would you class maybe Giovinazzi as a dangerous driver or more of a hothead?
I'd put him on the same sort of level as Ocon. I think Ocon, when he was at EMR, was a nightmare. Not really surprising. He's taught by James. That's only going to end one way.
The touring car method.
under Cameron, he's got a bit better, I do think.
No, well,
And I would agree a similar system's going to happen. I think at Bud Light, he's been a bit reckless. Even when he was at Red Bull for a little bit, he was a bit reckless. I think eventually when he does, if Red Bull Audi do get back to the top class, I think he's got a good chance of having some pace, but he's young. I think we see a similar thing happen with Max Verstappen with the Perez stuff, where whatever side you sit on that coin, he always seems to be involved in accidents. So the younger the driver, the more likely they are to be involved in them accidents, unless, of course, your name is, Charles Leclerc.
Okay, moving on to Yuri. So, Yuri, as Oliver pointed out, it looked like a podium was yet again on the cards, but it seems that luck doesn't appear to be on your team's side. Would you agree to that?
Yeah, our race was completely ruined by the red flag, but you can't do anything about it. In terms of before it, I think we were quite certain on getting at least a second place. Second place.
So, obviously, the race sadly ended for Kimi thanks to another collision with a GRM, coincidentally. What was your opinion on the incident when it happened?
I haven't seen it.
no, that's good.
To put it lightly. So, moving on to George. So, it seemed that the pace wasn't there for GRM for that weekend, and of course, Daniel and Kimi yet again getting involved in some contact. Would you say they're a bit inseparable at the moment?
Seems to be so. I mean, it was once again another frustrating weekend. I mean, the fact that we still actually qualified behind the Martini as well, that was quite bad. I really didn't feel good after that, but no, it was once again not a great weekend. But I mean, obviously the incident with Raikkonen was a bit unfortunate. It was unfortunate, but there's nothing to do about that, really. But I mean, the reaction after the race from certain individuals was personally was completely unacceptable. I mean, the fact that people would say that the race was scripted, or they wanted the EMRs to win, or the fact just because they couldn't get points because of what was their fault at the start of the season, and just some of the comments were just downright really ridiculous. And the fact that they also certain people tried to stop other people from having opinions on it by using the best logic ever. As I said, the comments after the race, what happened was unacceptable. But as I said, what happens. There's nothing you can do about it. So, but I mean, overall for us, weekend was not great. So I just really am hoping that this race will be a lot better.
Well, I was going to come on to that. Of course, Mexico produced quite a close race last season. I'm guessing you'll be hoping that something similar happens this season to effectively get some extreme points on the board.
Yeah, we need to get more points. As I said, we haven't been as good as we were last season, and I said we just need just a little bit more pace because we've been close to the points a couple more times. So we just need that little bit of extra pace, and then we'll be there.
Okay. Moving on then. Obviously, there aren't. There are questions, but there is now. It is from OTG X Gaming TW. He seems to be quite popular in these chats, it must be said. He asks, we'll say, with Etihad appearing to run away in front, who do you think will win the battle for second? I will start off with... Yuri on this one.
Well, we are trying to get that second place, but it's going to be an uphill fight at this point because we are quite far away in the points after the bad luck. In terms of pace, I think we are close to that, but it's very difficult to catch up now.
Oliver?
It's difficult to say because EMR have probably not got the pace or consistency, but then again at the same time you'll find Eldorado will only have one driver who performs. It's very rarely both of them will perform for them, and Yuri just doesn't get any luck. So probably out of the three, I'd say Eldorado because they always seem to finish, whereas EMR will at least have a very good chance of having DNFs.
James, do you hope that you can get second in the championship?
Not hope, I will be getting second. After I come back now.
So this one's very loud. I don't know whose it is, but...
Cameron's joined.
He said he wouldn't join.
Well, he's here.
Well, he's here, so... But start, I'll ask the rest of the question. Oh, what's that?
Robert?
Hello.
It's true that we're not as fast as EMR on most days, but I believe we have the most reliable package out of anyone, and it's consistency that wins you points. So, yeah, if EMR keep bottling it, I'm sure we will have at least a chance to beat them.
And George?
It's gonna be tough. I think it's going to be quite close. I honestly don't know. I just have to say probably wait till the next few races so I can decide. Really, I think it's still a little bit early, but we'll just wait and see. Really.
Okay. Next question that I have is obviously last season when we were last here. It was a very close race, as I mentioned briefly with George. And the question I ask is, do you believe that something similar this season will happen this season, or do you believe that Etihad will rock up and probably run away with it? I will start off with... I think I'll start off with Robert on this one.
Well, it's a short track, and the race last season was pretty close. Grosjean almost won it, so yeah. The strategies here in Mexico can be very varied, and if you have a lot of fuel, it may cost you. So yeah, I think all of the top 4 teams have a chance to win, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
Cameron?
I don't really remember last year's Grand Prix, but it will probably be close. But I think it will still be probably between the Etihads and the EMRs to go for the win.
George?
I think it probably will be a close race. I still think most likely the Etihads will win it, but we'll have to see.
Yuri?
I think Etihad are the favorite for all the races. I don't think it will be that close unless they have troubles.
James?
I want to win.
That wasn't the question.
I want to win.
That wasn't the question, James. Just answer the question.
I want
Do you
to
think
win.
it will be close?
Has James won a race because of pace yet?
Probably not.
No.
Well, there was Hungary.
Well, I think
The
we're
fact
talking
you
about
remember
this
that.
season, James. I think we're talking about this season.
No.
I'll-
But I should have won last season, and I want to win again. But the Etihads will be favourites at each bloody weekend. So.
And Oliver?
We have a package that should be good enough to win the Grand Prix.
Okay. So next question is from Super Jim 100. Finally, he comes out with a decent question for once. He asks, will AMP win a race this season? I will start off with...
No, I don't think that was the question. I think he said, will AMP win something?
Well, it kind of means...
I mean, that still technically... Yeah.
It kind of still means the same thing, whichever way you write it. George? George?
Oh right, I didn't really say me. I mean, I honestly don't know. I mean, we still managed to win some. We still managed to win last season, which, considering the fact that, I mean, we're not doing particularly. We haven't done fantastically well. I mean, we did well last season, but this season, I don't think. I mean, personally, for us, that we'll get a win. AMPs, I don't personally see it unless they bring a major upgrade. But I mean, it is quite amazing that somehow that out of most of the teams, they've yet to win a race. But I don't obviously know. I don't really know if it's going to happen or not.
Oliver?
I think if a small team like GRM can get a win, I dare say AMP have got a chance. At the same time, they've won as many titles as EMR, so.
Well, they probably should have won last time out because they were leading up until the accident. So
One race doesn't get you a title.
yes, shut up. Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't really won anything.
Yuri?
I don't think they can win unless there are some major cars.
Oliver?
I've answered the question.
Okay. Oh yeah, you did, didn't you?
I think Cameron hasn't answered that.
Oh, I was who I meant to think, Cameron.
Well, I think, as we saw at USA with Verline, if they were ever going to get near the podium or anything, then it would have been that weekend. But obviously Verline is a twat.
He's won more
yeah,
than
I
your
think-
entire team.
I think that
Pascal
they're
Verlaine achieved more than your entire team.
That's right. I was speaking.
Um,
Their early seasons was their best seasons.
Robert?
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Next question I have is to Oliver. So, obviously this week you announced that Lewis has signed a 2-season extension for your team. Are you happy that you've timed him down for those next 2 seasons?
Well, when he was at Red Bull, he was a nuisance, and now he's here. He's a nuisance to everyone else, so we've got to keep him penned down. I think him and Daniel. Daniel is on a contract that is, I believe, 2 years or 1. So Daniel's pretty much on a case of if he doesn't perform, then he could lose his seat. Lewis will be the number 1 driver, as he has the most experience and has been with the team longer. In a similar way that Fernando is currently the more experienced guy, but we treat them more as equals and let them race. Same thing will happen, but it's just important to keep hold of people. We've had bids come in for all of our drivers. They're all quite hot commodities. We've had bids for Leclerc, Gasly, Ricciardo, Hamilton, and one team asked for Alonso as well. So we have to make sure we keep hold of our commodities to make sure we remain at the top of the pecking order in a fair, fun way, unlike some teams have attempted to do. Hey, Cameron.
Speaking of Cameron, I was going to ask you because
Okay.
it wasn't announced during the press conference. It was announced like a couple of days after. But you have confirmed that Giovinazzi will be driving for you next season, with Ocon moving to GRM. How do you feel of getting Antonio into the team?
I think he's a good driver with good potential. At the end of the day, we had a financial problem that we needed to solve, and I was willing to get rid of Esteban over Max, and it seemed that Red Bull Audi wanted to get Giovinazzi a different seat, as he doesn't seem to be performing this season for Red Bull, whatever the other team is, Bud Light Lime. So yeah, we went in and we're happy with the deal, and hopefully he can do a good job next season.
And how do you think you'll be alongside Verstappen?
Both quite a young driver lineup. Obviously Verstappen will have the more experience in the team, but I mean, we'll have to see. I wouldn't be surprised if they came together at some point, but they're both great young prospects.
I guess like last time with the US one, I guess this is relevant in terms of Mexico. I can't remember what that question about the US was last week. Oh, it was about a state, wasn't it?
Why
Favourite
fuck?
fucking state.
Why are you answering that?
Why answer these fucking shit questions that have nothing to fucking do with it? You mind about me putting what's better, head and shoulders or fucking what's the other one? That German one.
James, right? I told you this last week, right? Because you had a go at this.
It's got nothing to fucking do with it. And
If anyone's watching this live, they're having an argument over the Skype call when they're sitting in the same room.
No, we're in separate rooms actually.
Right, okay, same house.
no, I don't live in the house. I don't live in the house anymore.
Who knows?
I live.
Well, that's
Someone's
what
having a
it's
frantic type. I think Cameron is. Yep, Cameron's putting something in the chat. In the
Why
Twitch
is it
chat.
so
Let's go to
loud?
this. Don't know, because your mic's right next to your thing.
Ah, I'm gonna delay it now.
Then again, Robert's mic is quite loud, but I don't know if it's that loud to pick up a keyboard.
It's just the settings.
It was Cameron he was typing. I could say. Cool.
Yes. Alright, James. I'll get with your command, Mardy Slob. I'll skip
Who has the best shampoo?
Not that one. From Cameron778, he asks, what do you think of Mars getting Ferrari engines in Season 5? Because this was recently announced as well during the week that Martini will be getting rid of Ferrari at the end of the season. So I'll obviously start with Cameron on this one because he made the deal. What got you to that deal in the first place?
Monday. Mars weren't happy with how the Porsche engine has been
That was
treated.
one hell of a long-term deal. That was.
Yeah, really long
Yeah,
term.
it was definitely after the first
I need the
weekend.
money. Leave me alone. So, Mars weren't happy with how Porsche have been giving them the pace this year, so they wanted to go for a new engine anyway, and it just so be it that they wanted a Ferrari.
George?
It'll be interesting to see how they do. I think obviously the Porsche engine hasn't been doing very well for them, so the Ferrari engine, obviously it's a lot better than the Porsche one, so it'll be interesting to see how well they do with that, to be honest.
Robert?
I don't really have an opinion.
James?
Great.
I don't care.
Yuri?
Do they get new or old engine?
It's the up-to-date one. Because Martini
Okay.
updated it.
Okay, I think they will do good.
And
But they won't cheat, so that's good.
I think they'll probably be the same, a similar pace as GRM. I don't think they've got the finances. And with GRM's lineup versus their lineup, them two are probably going to bring up the rear end of the table.
just how they are this season at the moment, then.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't see it making too many changes.
V12s, the screaming V12s.
Yeah, but V12 realistically won't make that much of an impact where you'll see fucking El Dorados
Especially
going
with
from
the,
first to last.
Especially with budgets as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, FTA will still fucking win.
Sorry, you just
Who
got
knows?
1-2 out. Sorry, James. We was going to enjoy some scones after our race, but we only had cream because you nabbed all our jam.
What did
I
you
will
do
never
with the
understand
creamer?
British slang.
Jam is luck.
Aha.
You have jam on scones. The joke was
Okay.
that I didn't have any jam.
It's actually no, it's
Whether it
actually
was
a
strawberry-
stone.
Was it strawberry or raspberry?
No, apricot.
Apricot. Okay, that's interesting.
We're hardcore.
Well, just like your
Yeah.
Dubai oil.
Yeah, we actually drink that in the gallon load. It's also not Dubai, it's Abu Dhabi. How dare you?
Okay, sorry.
Top country.
Dubai is our rival. That's where Fly Emirates.
Dubai
What was in the last press conference? It mentioned about BAR,
Well, British Airways Racing, or have you?
or as I like to call it, the budget airline racing.
Did you
Well,
mention Rosenquist?
Some people will probably call it British American Racing from Formula One, but
No, only you.
Any you.
well, unless there's a couple of nostalgic people here, I don't know. But,
No, I'm not one of them.
No, just you.
Alright, calm down.
Yeah, ask my question, Joe.
How about no? Because I think it's getting a little bit repetitive. That is.
What is it? Is it about shampoo?
No, it's how repetitive. No, some of that's been repetitive.
Oh,
for the last
James,
few
you
press
can't just
conferences.
nab my joke. You can't just nab my joke and try and use it as your own.
Exactly. That's a bit of a problem there, James. I think Ollie wants some
I want
compensation.
I want compensation, and
So-
I
so
want
did
Joe
me and Ollie,
Pasquale
but
to
we
do an
never got
advert.
Yeah. Next question then is from the full population of China, aka Robert
Or
Ionescu.
probably in
who's
this.
discovered.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Busted.
Anyway, Anyway, he asks, is this track layout that we're using in IFMC better than the one F1 currently uses?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Well, those two have answered. Cameron?
I don't know what the layout's like.
Doesn't have the stadium section.
Let me look it up and then I'll tell you.
I'll come back to you later then.
92.
George?
Yeah, yes it is.
Oliver?
No.
Okay. Yuri?
Okay.
Wait, I forgot the question.
Hang on, whose laugh was that?
That was
just on a squeak.
That was Cameron.
The dramatic pause from Yuri just to say I didn't know the question.
No, I forgot it in the middle of all of this.
He asked, is this track
Say yes
layout
or no.
better
Just
than
say yes or
F1
no.
currently uses? Is this
Yeah,
track layout better-
I didn't hear, and I will say no.
Okay, so you prefer the current one that F1 uses. Cameron, have you finally managed to locate?
I have found one. So it looks like it has an oval in the middle. Obviously, we won't be doing that bit, but it has more straights. So then, more OP Etihad. There we go.
I agree.
Okay, so it's not been the most entertaining press conference, has it? It's not been filled with comedy. And we've been on for over, nearly 40 minutes actually. So
Well, let's keep it down. Get to the
We've been
hour
on for
mark.
about 20 minutes.
You've been streaming
Hang on,
for 40
we
minutes.
start-
We've been talking for about 10.
Hang on, alright, 30 minutes then, because we started at 10 past.
Well, I joined halfway through the first question, and I've been here for 17.
I remember it started at...
Why is this a
10 past.
conversation?
I don't know.
We do go to the next question.
Yeah, we'll get
Right,
on to
let me
the last question.
brew a
Oh, my
Um,
cactus is grown.
Anyway, what's everybody's expectations by the end of the weekend? I'll start off with George.
To hopefully get one car in the points. Hopefully. Hopefully I'll qualify. Well, it'll be to do with if our qualifying pace is better than usual, so I'm praying that does happen, but you never know.
Cameron?
Points.
Robert?
It's a short track, and we're very good at short tracks, so hopefully we can get Paris on the podium, because
You
it's
said
his
this
home
at
race.
Donington, and you said this at Donington, and how did that work out?
We finished on the podium.
Yeah. I wouldn't say very good though. Only one car finished in the points.
James?
You should know what I'm going to say.
Happened last time.
He wants to blow up.
No.
Go on then. You were about
Yeah.
to speak, G.
I want to get a 1-2. I'm the Etihad to crash.
A legit one too.
We'll never get
What?
one of them.
Yuri?
Just to have a clean race.
And Oliver?
To extend our lead in the Constructors' Championship.
And with that, that is the end of the Friday Teams press conference. Thank you to Robert, Cameron, George, Yuri, Oliver, and James. And that is it for this press conference. We will see you guys tomorrow at 1 PM BST for the qualifying session to determine the grid for the Mexican Grand Prix. Until then, take care.